It is HPR, All Things Considered, and I'm Dave Lawrence. Grateful to have you here with us. And in fact, if you're a music fan who grew up in the 1970s and you're a music fan who's been listening to the show for a while and enjoying interviews, it's a treat today. We're welcoming back Ohio Players, longtime drummer Diamond Williams. Going to hear about their quest to get into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Now, he joined the band back in the early 70s, 72, I believe. He also has some great stories of that journey along the way. Welcome back, Diamond. I don't know if you remember, we did this ocean backdrop video chat. We were on a lanai overlooking the Pacific in a hotel room, but it was a great part of Ohio Players history I'm humbled to be a part of.
Hey, man, do I remember it? That's the only way I decided to do this interview again is if we were on the same backdrop, okay? So I need to come back to Hawaii, and we need to reduplicate that whole situation. We'll have a good time again. It's nice being with you, Dave.
Oh, it's nice being with you too, Diamond. A big hug and a high five. That was so much fun, and that kind of is a great lead-in because we sat there talking about, with the vast ocean behind us, we were talking about the vast history that you guys have been entangled with and part of, soundtrack too. There's so many ways to describe the role the Ohio Players have had in society. So, and I guess before we get into this Rock and Roll Hall of Fame thing, y'all have suffered a pretty big loss recently with Chet. Perhaps we should start by remembering guitarist Clarence Chet Willis.
Oh, man, what a way to start. He was my partner, man, for many years. He was, in fact, the one that gave me the invitation to get with the Overnight Low when the other drummer caught cramps. And so he kind of invited me to play with him for the first time. And then we got a chance after Marvin and I went with the Ohio Players to get a chance to invite him to be with us once again. And, man, when I say my partner, he was my closest guy, man, in the band. He was my closest partner, and I miss him a lot, miss him every day, miss his voice, his intelligence, his charisma, his personality. He's just an unusual guy, very intellectual. And also, I might mention the percussionist that died after Chet, maybe a month or so, Robert Jones Kuumba, who was my percussionist for years. He transitioned on likewise. So we give them both our love and continued thoughts.
Wow, that's heavy too. I hadn't. Forgive me for not noting on that second one. I apologize. I did not know that.
So that's okay. That's okay.
I did not know
They're
about
leaving
that.
here so fast, man. They're leaving here fast, Dave.
Yeah,
You know?
no, they are. I'm wearing a Black Sabbath shirt with Ozzy Osbourne on it, so I know what you're talking about. They are leaving. They are leaving fast. Thinking of Chet for just a second on the stories. All those years, you guys did some, and I'm going to name a few, by the way. I'm going to name a few
Okay.
cool things coming up. I went and did some homework, went through posters and posters to figure out a few interesting bills you've been on. But when you think of the times on the road, doesn't have to be on stage. Could be a cool place when y'all went overseas, for instance, to do things, or just could be a down-home memory, cooking food together. What's a great thing that puts a huge smile on your face when you think of Chet that would be a fun thing to just tell?
That would be a fun thing to tell. Well, I tell you what. One day we were over Satch's house.
That's Clarence Satchel, sax, guitar, and percussion in the band. Just letting folks know who are listening. Continue, my brother.
And we were having a party. It might have been a picnic, cookout. It might have been a holiday situation. Satch had a swimming pool in the back of his house. Not a large one. I mean, it wasn't high Regency, but it wasn't like a little kid-near pool or something like that. It was a decent-sized pool. Chet didn't know how to swim. Everybody knew Chet didn't know how to swim. And also, Satch had a basketball rim. And a couple of us, including myself, was playing basketball and shooting basketballs. And maybe a little one-on-one, two-on-two was going on. And Chet happened to be going around the pool, and he slipped. And and we literally saw him falling into the pool, you know what I mean? And knew of us that he couldn't drown, okay? And people swear, and I might have myself, that Chet was so afraid of drowning that he pushed off the water. Now that sounds funny, doesn't it? But he took one leg, and he actually the whole entire leg of his pants did not get wet. Only about half of the pants, and he was in the deep water. So where he pushed off of on the bottom, I don't know, Dave. Okay, but that is a funny story, and I'll swear to it today. Okay, that's how it happened. And he came up off that water, and he wasn't wet, and it was like just one of those miracle moments. That's all I can say.
Water resistant sort of cat. I love it.
Okay, is that a story or what?
I dig it.
Okay.
No, it's funny and glad he wasn't hurt for sure. Certainly. And the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is a good tie into him, obviously. So you're trying to get in there. No, the big push is because I see there's if people go to the official OhioPlayers.com, that's their website, the official OhioPlayers.com. Right. There's a petition or whatever, one of those change.org kind of deals. Explain what's going on with this whole Rock and Roll Hall of Fame push.
Man, some people think that we're worthy. Some people think that we're deserving. Some people think we should have been there prior to 5 or 6 of us passing away, as they have already. And I'm all with it, okay? If there's going to be a person that's going to ring the Ohio Players bell, it will be I, the manager and the leader of this band for 40-something years. It will be I. And I tell you what, I think we are deserving, musically deserving and otherwise. I think we fit all the qualifications to be in there. I would have liked to have been in there before these people have transitioned on, as many as the Ohio Players have, which started in 1995, which would have been some 20 years after these songs that we're talking about that's been so instrumental were made at that time, which is long enough for me. But regardless of all those things, I think we're deserving. And I would love to be a part of the establishment. And, how people get right at the end of wanting to get something, you get dismayed, you get kind of tired. The people that are climbing the Mount Everest, I'm sure they get tired along the way. I haven't gotten tired, but I've been very frustrated along the way that we haven't been part of that induction ceremony. So that's all I can say.
It would be I got to think that maybe I'll quote you from Fire. I think he said, "You're gonna get your wish."
That's right. That's right. You're gonna get your wish.
That's you saying that, right?
On stage, we say something else too.
Right.
Whatever, you know what I mean? But,
isn't that you? That's your line though from that, huh?
That's my line. You're gonna get your wish. Yep.
That's funny. So, well, look,
I got a couple lines. Smell the trees is another one of my lines on Smoke, I think.
You got some funny ones in there, but I'm rooting for y'all, and folks can take a look again at the petitions at their site, the official OhioPlayers.com, and it would be appropriate. The songs are so epic, and one of the things that I was looking at, we have an evening jazz host, Charles, and he had 2 great questions for you. First one's sort of a joke. Was that organic honey you guys are pouring over that woman on that album cover? Do you happen to remember if it was
organic honey? Yeah. Is there any other honey than organic honey? Is there man-made honey? I don't know. But
that sounds right.
Yeah. Organic honey, I would imagine.
It's a good answer. And then the scream. Now
that was an organic woman. He was pouring it on too. Okay, just to let him know. Okay, as jazz guys go a long way, so you got to explain all the way out to them exactly what was happening. Okay, and she was organically naked too, okay? I wanted to know all that organic stuff was necessary. Go right ahead.
And then the other one was, and you've told it many times, sort of an urban legend y'all is part of. The Scream and Love roller coaster, a DJ made a claim it was a person being harmed in the studio, and then Charles said even Casey Kasem repeated it, so then it gained sort of bigger traction. An interesting part of this, though, flipping it around, can you remember the first time you even heard about that rumor back in the day, and how you first heard what was happening?
Oh, my. You know how old I am, Dave. My kids say I'm 103 years old. And I'm starting to agree with them, just so when I get to that age, it won't be so noticeable to me. You know what I mean? But it started, like you said, way back, of course, in the 70s, during the period of time the song came out. And initially, I think it started out on the West Coast with a West Coast DJ around the Berkeley area. If I were to target a DJ in that area, San Francisco, Berkeley area, I don't know exactly who, But around that time, we were playing in that area, and people started to ask us questions. I mean, just immediately after hearing it, it kind of caught us by surprise. Somebody died. We had no idea about that. It was new to us. So we kind of explained it, and I'm sure I've talked to you about it, Dave, as far as Billy Beck doing the little shrill
Yep.
with his vocal, inhaling to make a type sound, and we were trying to simulate people going down a roller coaster, as you do, going down the hill, people screaming as they go down that hill. I mean, it's just, we have sirens on fire, we have screams on a roller coaster. I mean, come on.
Right.
And so we did have skin tight women on skin tight though. That was one of our mistakes. But anyway, and then the DJ said, "Can you hear where this woman got killed? While they were recording, or how they were recording the roller coaster, or whatever." And of course, there's been a number of changes in that, because how live does. By the time you get to it starts at one end, by the time it gets to another, it's already changed 5 times.
Oh, the rumor,
So,
right? Yeah.
we heard a number of days how we choked her, how we killed her, how it was a gunshot. You know what I mean? We stomped on her. There's all kinds of ways we dealt with this woman while recording Love Roller Coaster. Okay, what a song, Love Roller Coaster, one of the top 50 love songs in the world.
Right.
Number 30, as a matter of fact, and we're killing somebody in the process of.
It's
Okay?
insane that people
But
would have
I think-
even thought something like that, huh? About that song.
Yeah, people are just people, though. God love them. They're people. Okay?
That's a funny one. People can look it up too. It's a bit because they have Casey Kasem get involved in it, which is Did you ever meet him in your long illustrious career?
I have not met Casey Kasem.
He was a funny
I know
dude.
the voice quite well.
Of
Oh,
course.
yeah.
He was a funny dude. All right, let's get on to these posters here while we still got a minute. So I just pulled some highlights, and this is, again, thinking about your quest for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I do humbly say this is sort of like examples of some of the real cool stuff that this band did. Now, here I'm going to dial in on this one. And again, I'm hoping, because it's radio, if there's a story, maybe you did something backstage, maybe. And it doesn't have to be that show, but Marvin Gaye, you had special guests, Ohio Player, opening for Marvin at least Nassau Coliseum and Roosevelt Stadium in New Jersey back in August 74. Were these part of a larger tour with Marvin, or just a few dates?
Man, we did 20 dates across America with Marvin Gaye when he was recording that Marvin Across the United States. We were the co-starring band. I've never seen anybody so daggone large in complexity to how people felt about this entertainer in my life. The first time that I had the occasion of going to an arena, we had been to arenas before, but the first time I went there and Marvin Gaye was on the show, we were driving up on a tour bus, probably whatever. And I'm looking, I said, why are there so many emergency vehicles here? Emergency ambulances, it's like, what's going on here? I mean, what's the problem? He said, you'll see. I said, what are you talking about? Oh, you'll see. He didn't know anything about it. I'm going out. Of course, when Marvin comes out on stage, he requires everybody to leave the hallway except me. I never left the hallway in 20 shows. I wanted to see every bit of this man that I could see. And so as he walked by, I looked at him. He looked at me. His bodyguard looked at me. I looked at him. Okay? He going on stage. Upon him hitting stage, Dave, this man, before he ever sang one note, he didn't even hymn the Star Spangled Banner, nothing. He opened up his arms and the place went crazy. People throwing panties, women are fainting. They're carrying out people like it's left and right. I said, my God, what's going on? It's Marvin Gaye. Do I have to say any more? I seen him open up his arms with that little speckled, embroiled and decorated knit hat he used to wear, little knit hat,
right,
beanie. And I used to go home and try to simulate just how he opened up his arms to see if it would work with my daughters or my wife or what. It wouldn't. But it was just crazy. I couldn't imagine. And a voice of gold. We worked with Leon Ware, who was a writer that Marvin used during the period of time he was writing a bunch of hits. And Leon said he never heard Marvin sing one flat note at all. And all the time we did shows with Marvin, I never heard that boy sing flat note at all. It's like just an incredible voice. What a talent.
Oh my! And what a great story though about the kind of physical, and it's a great one for radio too because it's so visual. And that is a story I know about, but I haven't had anybody sort of explain. And so you got to do that, and that's funny how I know what you mean. A lot of artists like to clear the deck back there so that it's totally empty when they go back to when they hit the stage or when they leave the stage. And so was that as close as? Just from the way you described it, it made it sound like that was as close as you got to him the whole tour.
No, I went back to his dressing room after a couple of shows. Are you kidding me? That wasn't as close. I'd watch him leave the stage, and he said, Saxon say, something to him or whatever. He said, man, come on back to my dressing room. I watched him eat that fried chicken in the back of his dressing room. I even heard him ask, he asked Satch, Dave. He said, man, that drummer y'all got is a bad drummer. And Marvin played drums, and I didn't say a word to him, Dave. I was so enthralled by him and his talent.
Wow.
And he left everything, because I was there to watch it. Everything on that stage when he came off. When he hit that first step on the stage, he would drop into his bodyguard's arm, and he was quite, Marvin was 6'2". He wasn't a little guy. And his bodyguard was likewise 6'3", 6'4". And he would drop into his arms, and he would just go limp. His bodyguard would just carry him back to the dressing room. That's how out of it he was. I mean, I see it every night. He gave everything he had on stage. So what a daggone talent.
Oh, my Lord. And to be hanging out in the dressing room after the show, eating the chicken with him.
Yeah, man. That's me. You know what I mean?
You can't fake that.
See this guy, man.
You can't fake that, my brother. That's a real...
No, you can't fake that, man. You can't fake that at all. I was there to watch it.
I know. I can tell. That's a great... I'm humbled that we got to... the other thing about y'all, that's what I said. This is a band that's been right there with the history. This is a front row seat to history that he's sharing here. And you don't... Diamond Williams, Ohio Players, you don't really get to hear stories like that ever. Here, I don't know if I'm opening another amazing can, but I did some more homework. There were a number of concerts in 1974 with the Jackson 5. I'm going to just name a couple to set the scene. One, you guys
the Jackson 5.
You're opening at Madison Square Garden. This is July 74. But then another great one, because I don't know which is greater, but then you're down at RFK Stadium in D.C. I saw the Dead there a whole bunch. And here you are. It's May 74. It's Jackson 5, Ohio Players, Eddie Kendricks, Soul Searchers.
Yeah, man. Can you imagine? We opened up the Superdome together, the Jackson 5 and us. We were the first band, the first entertainment group to open up the Superdome.
In New Orleans.
90,000. In New Orleans, yeah. We were the first show.
What year is that?
That might have been 74, around that time or whatever.
Okay.
It was incredible. The Jackson 5 had come to Dayton to see us. They had probably played in someplace near Dayton, Ohio, and they came to our city. And actually, a couple of them came to my house. I think Marlon or Jermaine probably came to my house, and they were at our office. We had an office downtown Dayton. We had the penthouse upstairs. Our office was upstairs, and one of them they wanted to come by and see us, and I think I took one of them, jumped in my Maserati, took them by my house because I lived too far away. And we were playing with the Jackson 4 not too long ago. When I say not too long ago, 4 or 5 years ago or something like that, certainly before COVID. When I was talking to Jermaine, and I was back there taking a picture with him, and we were talking. I said, Jermaine, y'all done great. He said, Diamond. I said, yeah. He said, man, we always loved the Ohio Players. We always wanted to be like y'all. I said, what'd you say, Jermaine? I said, what did you say, kid? I said, I should have taped that. He said, man, we always wanted to be like y'all. He said, y'all had them fast cars, some Maseratis. You always had them nice women on the album covers and whatever. I said, are you kidding me? I said, kid, y'all did all right. You did all right by yourself, okay? And that was just funny for him to say that. I said, I should have taped that. That's what I should have recorded, but it was just funny to hear about it because I never would have thought they were looking up to us. When we did the Superdome, this is when Michael, was, heck, I don't know how old he was at that time, Dave, but heck, the band, the rest of the Jackson 4 or whatever came out to the stage, normal as we did, but Michael came in a Brinks truck, okay? He was in a Brinks truck coming out to the stage, and that was the beginning of of showing how fantastically wonderful that kid was. And
Wow, they
so
did
yeah,
that
we
as a
got some stories.
they did that as a bit. You're saying, like a stage trick to have him come out like that in a truck? Explain that.
I think it was just that they wanted to protect him that much. You know what I mean? That's how I look at it. I don't think it was as it was a ploy on stage or some kind of sin or whatever. I'm just saying, they looked at him like he was worth all of it. You know what I mean? This kid was, and it proved out to be quite so. I mean, as far as that was concerned.
And you're not using that as a figure of speech. You're saying there was an actual vehicle, or you just mean they took really good care of him?
No, there was an actual vehicle. I'm not using it as a figure of speech at all. I'm talking about an actual Brinks truck with him being in the back of it, like the money were to be there, and he came out of the Brinks truck to come on stage. No, I mean, actually.
Wow. That's what I mean.
I got a few stories, Dave. I got a few stories.
Yes,
okay?
you do. And that's an early Michael. That's the arise of him from, and he's like barely old enough to drive that Brinks truck, huh?
Yeah. This is a young Michael, Dave.
Yeah, he was very, very young. All right, well, we have time for one more maybe two more really good ones. Here's one that blows my mind a little bit, because you were talking about opening that historic stadium in New Orleans, Nolans, as they say, in 76, July 4th, 76. So it was indoor stadium here, so kind of a twist. Pontiac Silverdome. It was Patti LaBelle, Ohio Players, Rufus with Shaka Khan, War, and the Brecker Brothers.
Yeah. What a show.
Any memories of having Patti LaBelle and Shaka Khan? You guys are nestled in between the two of them.
Patti LaBelle was quite unusual as an entertainer. You know what I mean? The Brecker Brothers, all that whole show was just incredible. But Patti, we've done quite a few shows with her. Very nice lady. And they say she can cook a little bit too, Dave. I've yet to taste her cooking, but they say she can cook a little bit. But she's just a very nice lady. That's all I can say about that. And a great voice, of course.
No, that's a great one. Well, our final question is another one of these like kind of all-star thing. Nassau Coliseum, August of 76. It's 2 nights, the 7th and 8th. They called it the Sound of 76. Ohio Players headlining with Parliament Funkadelic, BT Express, and Bootsy's Rubber Band opening.
Yeah, well, anytime, is it 1976?
Yeah.
Yeah, Bootsy and George, those are guys from the Westmount days, and that string of things that were going on during Westmount, but great entertainers, great artists.
Well, it's been great catching up with you today, Diamond. I really appreciate it. You've been telling some amazing stories. The official OhioPlayers.com. People can stay in touch with the band. Longtime drummer Diamond Williams. And, of course, take a look at the petition to get him into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And let's get you guys back out to the Blue Note or something, and we'll have another chat on a hotel balcony on a lanai somewhere nice.
We look forward to it, Dave. Thank you so much.
You have fun today? Was this okay?
I sure did. Thanks. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. Take care. Aloha, brother.
You too.